Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Ctrl Alt Delete. Hey everybody, Joe Simons, like diamonds, back again with Salt Strong Unchurched, the first episode of 2024. It sounds crazy even saying that, doesn't it? 2024. If you're anything like me, beginning of a new year, a lot of big dreams, a lot of big goals, get excited, clean slate, if you will, new chapter, whatever you want to call it. And usually around Christmas time, we're down in or up in Georgia at the farmhouse. I'm a little bit backwards right now, and you understand why. And you've heard maybe some of my past podcasts around this Christmas, New Year's time, where I'm down there, and the farmhouse is a unique place. It's been in my wife's side of the family for hundreds of years, literally. They even have one of the oldest grave sites, privately owned grave sites in all the South, certainly in Georgia from the 1800s. Pretty neat. So this farmhouse, very old. It's big, like meaning there's 6-7 bedrooms. It's a big place, holds a lot of people, but there's no internet. You can't even get internet out there. It's in the middle of nowhere, and there's electricity. It's not like that bad. But no Wi-Fi, no internet, no TV. So you're just there. If you're inside, if it's raining or something, you're playing board games and sitting around the fire talking. And if it's not raining or snowing sometimes, then, you're outside, you're hiking around. It's, 600 or so acres. I got a couple little lakes, doing some fishing, and it's such a great place. And I recommend everyone. And it's never too late. You don't have to do this right before New Year's. It's never too late to do this. Just to kind of get outside. Many times, even by yourself, is when I have a lot of my kind of big aha moments. Where I'll just take a little walk by myself, either early in the morning before everyone's up, or in the middle afternoon if everyone's out, kicking the soccer ball and stuff around, and just pray and listen. And I have had so many just kind of big aha moments, hearing from God moments when I'm out there. And so all that being said, I was really excited to go this year. The kids were excited. My wife's, both her brothers from Boston and their families were all going to be there. Had some other people coming from Virginia area. So we're going to have like a ton of family there. And guess what happens 2 days before Christmas when we're about to head up there? A couple of us started getting sick. I was getting sick, and I was like, you know what? Like, there's even going to be like Lauren's parents there who are a little bit older, and I was like, let's just test just in case. And lo and behold, we had COVID. And even though this latest strain is not as bad as the first ones when everyone was scared and freaking out, you still don't want to go up there and give it to 15 people. I don't think that's the nicest thing to do around the Christmas time. So, and they didn't want us there clearly when we told them. They obviously didn't particularly want us to be there, in this, in a farmhouse stuck with all these people and getting sick right for the holidays. So we had to stay at home, and, we had every reason to be disappointed because we were, but we also said, you know what, we can't control this part of it. It's out of our hands at this point. We're not going. We're going to be home. We, really shouldn't even be going out and about. And so we stayed in and did some really cool stuff as a family. Just did a lot of kind of what normally you'd call spring cleaning, but did it in Christmas when normally that's the last time we could clean. And my wife was incredibly happy to do all that, and just spent time watching movies at night with the kids, and did things that we know we wanted to do, but just been so doggone busy here around the holidays to do it. So we ended up having an absolute blast, had Christmas completely by ourselves. But honestly had a really fantastic time. And I think so much of it is around your thinking. And we had every reason to be mad and just ticked off and, sit there and be depressed, sitting at home with COVID during the holidays. You probably even still hear it in my nasal. I'm a little congested still because of it. But man, we had an absolute blast. And so instead of being outside in Georgia and walking around, I spent a little bit of time just hanging out by the lake. Went out in the pontoon boat a couple times with both the family, and my wife and I had a date night out on the pontoon and took a little champagne out there one night. Just like I said, had a blast. Did some stuff that we normally wouldn't do during Christmas time. And the weather was actually fairly warm here for Florida. And a couple times I went out just by myself, and same type of deal. Just, hey, God, I'd love to hear from you. Praying on, messaging and thoughts for 2024, and some goals, both, personally and professionally. And I saw this one message in my feed. I don't even really remember where, but it just said Control plus Alt plus Delete. Right? We've all seen that before, right? Most of us are familiar with that on a keyboard. And underneath it, in highlight, it said Control yourself, alter your thinking, delete negativity. So let me repeat that. This is the Control Alt Delete. Control yourself, which means your emotions, right? And even like the COVID thing, like control, it's out of my control that we got COVID, but I can control how we react to that. Alter your thinking, right? Just so we may turn into a positive, and delete the negativity. And these are the things that we've literally worked on. I had not seen this when we found out we got COVID, but this is literally what we worked on. My wife and I agreed, hey, like, we can't be negative about it. We got to alter the thinking, right? We have to control our emotions and not get angry, and just find ways to turn this into a positive. And the more I thought about it, I was like, man, that is such a good message. It was a good kickoff message for 2024. If we all just did that, imagine how awesome this world would be, right? Imagine how positive everyone would be, and imagine how positive all the social media feeds and everything would be. Most people don't do this, right? If you just scroll through comments on social media or even comments on blog posts and stuff, most people just seem to want to get offended and mad about everything. And if we just did this, if we just controlled ourselves and our emotions, altered our thinking, maybe start thinking outside the box, and then just deleted all negativity from our lives, wow, talk about game changing. And here's the beauty of it. We don't really care about what the other people are doing, right? That's up to them. Let God work on them. I think if I could ask anything of you in 2024, it is to focus on yourself, right? So many of us, including me, right? I've had this multiple times, just in the month of December with my wife, where I see her get anxious about something. I just want to help her and kind of help control her, if you will. Like, you know what? Yeah, I can lend a hand and I can help her out. But end of the day, that's on her. I can't get, even with my own spouse, I can't get too uptight about how she's reacting to stuff. I can share messages like this, Control Delete. We can work on it together. But end of the day, I got to work on myself first, right? And normally, if you work on yourself and you have an attitude like this, Control Alt Delete, where you're just always beaming out positivity, that usually will rub off on the people around you anyways. And it even rubs off on people on social media when they realize they can't get underneath your skin. They'll go move on to someone else, or maybe even have an epiphany and try to be positive because of how you reacted. And so I would challenge you to really work hard on things like this, controlling yourself, controlling your emotions, altering your thinking, and deleting all negativity in your life. And that even includes getting rid of negative people in your lives. I've done some podcasts on that in the past, where I had to get rid of people in my life. That doesn't mean I dislike them. That doesn't mean I will never talk to them again, but it does mean I'm not spending time with them. I'm not going out of my way to find ways to be around them if they're going to be negative. I'm always wide open for people to have a transformation, but I had a couple people in my life that were just constantly negative. Everything that came out of their mouth was belittling and negative. And they're funny sometimes, right? Even like stand-up comedian that's just purely negative. It's kind of funny for a while, but after a while it gets old and it does rub off on you. It does create negativity and just kind of It's tough to explain what it does to your mind and how you look at things when you've been around someone who's negative like that. So many times we don't even see it until we get away from it and kind of get removed from it. You're like, wow, I am really negative. I've told the story about me in college when my parents came to see me, and I had a really, really negative roommate who was hilarious because he was so negative and he was condescending and, kind of a jerk to the point it was really funny, but it was constant. And it started rubbing off on me, and I didn't even see it to my parents. So they pulled me aside after a day of hanging around with me, and they're like, I just want to let you know, like, we're going to be praying for you. You're super negative. Like, this is the most negative we've ever seen you, just condescending, and nothing really pleasant's coming out of your mouth. And what did I do immediately? I started getting defensive. What are you talking about? And, and then quickly realized how bad it had become, just because that was what I was surrounded by 24/7 with my roommate. So all that being said, I'd love to hear any of your goals, any of your big plans for 2024, any prayer requests. If you're starting the year off like we did with COVID or something like that, it's never fun. But then again, this is your chance where you got to say, you know what, I can either sit here and get mad, or I can alter my thinking. I can control any of my anger or emotions and delete negativity and find some positive out of it, like we did. Like I said, it was one of my favorite Christmases, just not having to do anything, because let's be honest, it was going to be a 7-hour drive each way with with all the holiday traffic and kids, and packing up the car with all the gifts and all the stuff that we take to the farmhouse. Didn't have to do that. That was nice. Actually, it was really nice. 14 hours of being in the car that I didn't have to do, that I could hang out with my kids and do stuff around the house and read books. So we just try to find all those positive things that we got to avoid, if you will, right? It's all about how you look at things. So I love you guys. I hope this is going to be an amazing year. Got some really fun podcast planned. I'm reading some really, really interesting books that I'm excited to share with you. And stay tuned for the next one. It will be a great one. And Ctrl Alt Delete. Try to use that in your life. Share it with your kids, grandkids, spouses, whoever. Control yourself. Alter your thinking. Delete negativity. Until next week. Love you guys. And hit me up. Joe@saltstrong.com is my email. Love to hear from you.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul.